Hello YouTube, Captain Mac here, and welcome to a special edition of FedEx Cargo Operations. Today is September 29th, 2022. Yesterday on September 28th, 2022, airplane fly away there. Hurricane Ian ripped its way across Florida, starting on its west coast in the Gulf and working its way across to the east coast, and is now a tropical storm working its way toward South and North Carolina. And of course, always with natural disasters like this, there's a great need for supplies, water, food, medical supplies, things to rebuild. We have no idea at the moment what the extent of the damage is, but I do know that a good friend of ours and the chief operations officer for Mac Air lives very close to where the center of Hurricane Ian made landfall in Florida. Now, I have heard from Joe this morning. He said all is well. It appears that there's no major damage to their home and everybody is safe, and so we thank the Lord for that. And our mission today is to fly some of those relief supplies down to Florida. And we are going to fly from Memphis, our hub here for FedEx, down to KRSW, which is Sarasota, Florida. It's actually an old air base there, if I'm not mistaken. It's got a very long runway, which is going to be very helpful for us because we are absolutely loaded to the max. And we're going to do this flight today, and then if necessary we're going to repeat this until we've provided as much supplies as we are capable of doing, and everybody else who has pitched in has done the same, and we've helped them out down there as much as possible. That's our mission for today. So let's get into the flight deck. The cargo is already loaded. Let's get the aircraft started. Excuse me, a little hiccup there. Let's get the aircraft started up, get pushed back, and get this thing headed down to Southwest Florida as quickly as possible. Alrighty folks, you know the drill by now. We're going to take a look at our flight plan first, and we're also going to knock out our taxi and our departure briefs right now, so that we can get those out of the way and get going. And let me just say really quick, I realize that this is a virtual flight. This isn't something we're really doing. This is just a way of using this platform to bring attention to what's happened down there for maybe anybody who doesn't know, and just pay some respects, and show my love and my concern for my friends and others down there as well. I can assure you that if I had an airplane and the ability, I would absolutely fly supplies into Florida right now, but I don't have that in the real life. I do know that my friend Joe and his family are doing well. I don't know about other people, obviously, but this is just a way to show that I do care, even if there's nothing that I really can do at the moment. So I just want to stress that in case somebody's looking at this saying, oh, you think you're actually doing something. No, I think that I'm just showing that I really do care, and I wish that there was something I could do. And I just want to stress that really quick. So with that in mind, here's our flight plan for the day. Memphis to KRSW is Southwest Florida International in the Sarasota area. The air distance is 722 nautical miles. You can see here that we are going to be quite heavy. Our takeoff weight would be more if we needed more fuel. So it's 516,666 pounds. Not a fan of the number 666, but there you have it. Landing weight is going to be 483,754 pounds. That's pretty close to our max landing weight. Zero fuel weight is at our max zero fuel weight. I actually had to back off the cargo just a little bit in order to make things work here. So we're looking at block fuel of 57,366 pounds. And if we scroll down here, you'll see that our total payload was going to be 199,100 pounds, but we could not get our center of gravity where it needed to be at that weight, so I brought it down to 185,500 pounds for our payload. Really quickly, let's use our Navigraph charts here and take a look at our departure, taxi and departure procedures. We were scheduled for runway 27. The wind is not favorable for that. It's 050 at 7. Plus, I like the idea of a longer runway, and we can burn off just a little more fuel taxiing down here to runway 36 center. So that's what we're going to do, using that as our departure. So we'll taxi off Bravo down here to Sierra, Sierra all the way down to the end of 3-6 center to hold short there, and then take the Olam's 6 departure today. And as you can see here, it's going to be straight out as soon as we get to, I'm sure it's in the text version here. So 3-6 center and right, climb on heading 360 to intercept course 325 to Beale, then on depicted route to Olam's. If we zoom back out, you can see there it is to, you know, climbing until you intercept that radial out to Beale, then a left turn to Pyramid, Emacs, Hoos, I guess that is, down here to Caslin, Olam's, and then Layek, and then we'll be on course from there. Not a super long flight, but we definitely want to get it cracking as quick as we can, and like I said, if necessary, we will make several trips even today if possible. Alrighty folks, we just about got everything ready to go here. Get rid of this thing real quick for you, otherwise it'll pop up over and over. There we go. Let's get the APU fired up there. We're going to go to 10,000 feet initially. It does say a top altitude of 5,000 feet for that departure, but something about that seems off to me. I'm sure I'm wrong, but I'm just going to roll with it. We're going to be doing flaps 28 for our takeoff, and so I think it's this one. Yeah, there we go. So we're not going to use the dial-a flap for that, so we'll just leave it where it's at 15, because flaps 28 is a regular setting on there. They're all physical settings. Why are my spoilers extended? There we go. Spoilers are no longer extended. So as we're firing up the APU there, let's take a look real quick at our push and start procedures. I've already pre-planned the pushback. Beacon light can come on now. The auxiliary hydraulic pump 1 can go on. I think we probably need to wait until the APU's up and running for that. So we'll give that just a second here. And there's the APU coming on. So let's go ahead and turn that on. Turn on the APU bleed. Turn the external power off. And let's go ahead and just disconnect that real quick using our aircraft menu. There's the ground power unit. We can get rid of the chocks as well. It takes care of all that. Pushback is already pre-planned. Beacon light is on. Auxiliary hydraulic pump 1 is on. Engine ignition A or B. I think we're on B this time around. Notice as soon as I press that, it turns all the packs off. Fuel system manual light is extinguished. Air system manual light is extinguished. And then parking brake off, and then pushback. So let's go ahead and just jump down here real quick, turn the master switch off, go to better pushback, and start pushback. So it's going to take him just a minute, or her just a minute, to connect back there. Now, while she's doing that, I do want to note that I did just see, my brain went blank there for a second, I did just see that they, Rotate has apparently put out an update. Oh look, he's inside the building, awesome. Has put out an update to make the MD-11 here compatible with X-Plane 12. Now, I saw that after getting things fired up for this flight, so we're going to obviously continue this one in X-Plane 11. I'm going to take a look at that, but I may do more than one flight today, and if I do, they're all going to be in X-Plane 11 for now. I want to make sure things are functioning properly in X-Plane 12 before I start doing videos in this MD-11 in there. I love flying this thing.
Okay, all doors and hatches are closed. Ready to connect.
And what was I saying? I love flying this thing, and I really want to fly it in X-Plane 12. I like X-Plane 12, even though it's beta. I still really like it a lot, but I'd like to have some more stability before we fly it in there. The same goes for the Flight Factor 767. You can fly it in there, but it's just the stability's not there. It's not quite where it needs to be, in my opinion. So, some work to be done there yet. It's not that big of a deal. X-Plane 11 is a fantastic platform, and we're going to continue to fly in that for the time being. So I'm just going to wait for her to finish hooking up. When she does, we will start the pushback, and we will go ahead and start up these engines.
Tow connected and bypass pin inserted. Release parking brake.
Alright, there we go. Parking brake off.
Starting pushback, and you may start engines.
Alright, so you guys may recall it goes engine 3, then 1, then 2. So we're going to flip this guy on. The light turns on. We're going to start watching the N2 up here. There it is coming up. We're going to be watching for 15% on the N2, and then we'll go ahead and introduce the fuel. I'll do the engine start here on number 3 on screen, and I will do the other 2 off screen just so that we can get this wrapped up. And you can hear chairs dragging upstairs. That would be my 2-year-old. There's 13 and 14 and coming up on 15. Introduce the fuel. There she goes. We can see the N1 starting to come up as well. Exhaust gas temperatures cranking up nicely. Pack 3 went off on its own. And then we're looking over here and we've got a rise in oil temperature, oil pressure, and the oil quantity starts to stabilize. So everything's looking good there. I'm going to go ahead and let that one stabilize, finish the pushback, and engine start. I'll be back on here momentarily, and we can start taxiing out. Alright, as you can see, engine number 2 is just stabilizing here. Let's jump up to our overhead. We can turn the APU air off. And we don't need to turn the APU power, or we don't need to turn it off here because it automatically turned itself off. But if we jump all the way up here, we can click on this bad boy and turn it off up there. Also, galley external power and external power both need to be off, which they are. Nose light can come on. We'll put it to taxi there. What else we got here? Logo light, we don't really need it. High intensity lights can stay off for the moment. We don't need to do the FedEx mode switches because we're in the right mode anyway. And pushback is completed. And we just need to verify that taxi is on our PFD, which it is right here. Now we already have our taxi clearance. We already know our route. Do need to set the flaps. So that's going to be our first setting there. Let me just show this to you over here so you can see. So that's our first setting, which is just the slats, and then it's our dial a flap, which will be right there. One thing I did notice, you remember in the tutorial I was having a hard time moving this thing. If you do it from this view, it's actually a lot cleaner. So for whatever reason, if you happen to have a view like this down here like I did, you see how it jumps around a lot? I don't know why it does that, but if you come up over here, it's a lot cleaner on moving it. So, but we're going flaps 28, so we'll put that on down there to 28. That'll take care of the flaps. We can arm the spoilers. Remember, look for the little hand, click and hold, pull straight up. Let's put this on config, and let's go and do that flight control checks really quick. Full left, full right, and neutral all the way up, all the way down, and neutral, and then on that rudder, full left, bouncy to the right. One of these days I'll get new rudder pedals, and then there's neutral, and we're good to go there. Put that back on the engine page. That takes care of that. TCAS is already set. Stabilizer trim is set to 7.3, indicated here and here, so we're good to go on that. And let's see, we're on our takeoff page, so we don't need to check that again. We do need to push the nav mode to arm that. That's this one right here. And you can see it says right there, nav armed. Remember, we're not going to push the auto flight for the takeoff clamp until we get to our hold short point on the runway. Okay, let me jump to a proper view here. Let's get the track eye on. It's probably going to bounce around a little bit. Oh yeah, it's all over. Look, I'm in the seat and everything. Let me just get my head to settle here. There we go. And grab that mouse because I need that for the parking brake. Release that. Should start rolling on its own here momentarily. There we go. She's going to start cruising on up here, and it's going to be the next left up there, and then we're going to taxi on down, and I will see you guys when we're holding short of the runway. Alrighty folks, we're going to be up to the hold short point here pretty soon. I just wanted to come on real quick and mention, I don't think I said it already, I am using a program called XP Realistic. There's 3 reasons that I went ahead and purchased this program. Number 1 is it adds lots of ambient sounds and stuff like that, which is something that I like. There goes that nice 7. It's always that United 747 that pulls out when I'm taxiing here. Anyway, I like the ambient sounds, like the aircraft that flew overhead during the introduction. That's an ambient sound. That's not a native sound to the sim. So, I mean, if an aircraft flew over, yeah, but you get the point. Anyway, so that was one reason I bought it. I wanted those extra ambient sounds. It's also got a lot of, there's a ton of features on it. I'm not going to sit here and list them, but the other 2 reasons were, 1, when I bought it, it is for both X-Plane 11 and 12. So when 12 is more stable and we're flying in it more, we'll have it available to us. And then it was on sale. It's normally like $35. It was on sale for 10 bucks. I said, wow, let's go ahead and grab it. And if I don't like it, well, I'm out 10 bucks and that stinks, but I'm not out 35 bucks if I don't like it. And that's a pretty big deal. So, all right, I'm going to go ahead and probably just fast forward here or just skip ahead to the hold short point, and we'll go ahead and get things ready for takeoff. Alright, so a little awkward on the hold short line here from where we were coming from, but let me just that wheel straighten out, and I'll just hold the brakes here. Take track eye off. Nah, let's leave it on. I think we're good to go there. So our before takeoff stuff, we're going to turn the landing lights on, high intensity lights, all that when we pull out on the runway. That'll be just fine. Transponder's already on. We do need to arm the auto flight, so you're going to see the auto throttle system off. That's what this box is around here, so that'll go away, and that arms that. Now it's supposed to be around 60%. It's anywhere from 65 to 75%. Once you get the throttles there, the auto throttles kick in. So green box in the EAD, which it is down here, so now it's position and hold. So let's go ahead and just start rolling her forward here as quick as we can. So remember, turning it, getting her lined up without using lots of runway is not easy. There's a 727 over there. Give her just a bit more thrust, and that should be about where the tail wheel is there. Well, it's going to be the slowest lineup I've ever done. Come on. So I think we're off just a little bit. We're not quite perfect on our lineup, but that's all right. Let's just go ahead and bring her a nice easy stop here.
Center on runway.
It always stops weird like that.
Center.
Yes, I know. Thank you. All right, let's go ahead and advance the throttles here. That should put us around 60% there, give or take. Let's see. And I'm just guessing. There's nothing to show. That's pretty close. So let's go ahead and release the brakes and straighten her out. And let's go ahead and advance the throttles a little further. Wait for that auto throttle to kick in. Maybe. There it goes. And off we go. Still shows taxi down there on the PFD until we get to 50 knots or higher. And there you go. The airspeed is now alive. There's 80 knots. This beast is heavy. Coming up on V1. Hands off the throttles. And there's rotate. Oh yeah, she's nice. Nice and pretty. Come on up, baby. Positive rate of climb. Gear coming up. Following that flight director. You guys know the drill. Now, I'm not following it quite that steep right now. And there we go. Why is it that far off to the left? I guess it just wants us to do a full turn. Oh, there's some turbulence for you. Look at that. Ooh-wee. How's that for turbulence? Ooh. What was that? Do you guys see that? Wow. That was not me. That was turbulence. Let's go ahead and get that nose coming down a little bit there. Come on. Come down. There we go. Oh, yeah. Come on. Just trying to trim it out a little bit here. Wow, that was quite the wind there, wasn't it? That was kind of crazy. Okay, let's go ahead and get flaps up here. Ooh, just a little more nose down trim. That got a little nuts there, didn't it? That was wow. That was pretty crazy, guys. That was not me. I was not just messing up my flying there. That was definitely the the something on takeoff, a wind shear or something. I don't know what that was, but seems to have smoothed out now, so that's good. It's being a little fickle on the flight director there, though. We'll just go ahead and fly her straight until we get out here to the next waypoint. And so one thing I learned, hit FMS speed first. If you hit the autopilot and then FMS speed, see how the flight director went down? If you turn the auto flight system on first and then hit FMS speed, it will nosedive sometimes. We don't want it to do that. So we'll follow the flight director, get the speed coming up a little bit, and then we'll put the autopilot on here. So let's get that speed keep coming up, and we can go slats up here shortly. Just bring her on around the corner. Let's go ahead and bring the slats up. There we go. Those are coming up nicely. That'll also help that speed increase nicely. There she goes. Now we got to start pulling back on it. Woo, because we're going to go over 250, right? You like the sound effects? Woo! Alright, let's go and turn the auto flight on. There we go. Shouldn't have a problem maintaining speed now. Everything's looking good. We'll go ahead and zoom this range out just a little bit. And she'll make it up around the corner nicely here. I'm going to turn the track IR off really quick. And there we go. Get to a different view here. Let's take a look at our after takeoff checklist here. So vertical speed is good. It's where we want it when we get above 10,000 feet here in the not too distant future. I don't know why that thing's flashing. We're going to go ahead and crank this up now. So we're going to flight level 310, right? So there we go. Let's just keep her climbing here. And then once we get at 10,000 feet, we'll be good to go. We'll go ahead and take those landing lights off. Let's go ahead and unarm the spoilers there. Auto brakes, I didn't turn them on. I actually forgot to do the auto brakes. That's not good, because I'll tell you what, that would have been tough if we had to do a rejected takeoff. Anti-ice is good where it's at. Altimeter will be adjusted above 18,000 feet. So we're just waiting for that 10,000 foot mark, which is coming up right now. So let's just go ahead up here. That's the wrong way. Up twice. My mouse is acting up again. Up twice. There we go. Looks good on that. And what? Ooh, boy, it really dove into that turn, didn't it? Wow. All right, what else we got here on our after takeoff? That is it. That takes care of our after takeoff checklist. The gear is up, the flaps are up, the slats are up, landing lights are off. Once we get above 18,000 feet, the slats should be up, right? No, it still shows slats out, doesn't it? Oh, wow. I thought oh, you know what it did? I forgot, because we've been using the dial a flap during takeoff, right? So I assumed it was one went to slats and then up. That's on me, but I saw the speed tape over here in the yellow line on the speed tape. So the slats are coming up now. There we go. Now the slats are up. So now it'll start to advance the speed a little further. So that's my bad. Other than that, that takes care of our after takeoff checklist, and that means, you guessed it, ladies and gentlemen, it is time once again for some of that obligatory elevator music. Alrighty folks, we're just inside 100 nautical miles from top and ascent here. Probably decrease that a little bit. You can see it's marked on the nav display there. A couple things real quick. First of all, I can't pull weather yet, too far out. So I just want to show you something I did here. We went in here and set up a hold. You go to the flight plan page. I just picked a spot. I can find it here. Oh, I passed it already. Where'd it go? My hold is gone. Oh, there it is. Well, it's supposed to be here at Tiny. There we go. I couldn't find it all of a sudden. Okay, so all I did to set up the hold is I just select the waypoint, select hold, and then set up the parameters here and insert. That's all I did. Now, we may not need to use that hold. I don't know yet. But as of right now, we've set a hold there, which should be close enough to pick up weather. So I'm hoping we pick it up before that, and then I can just delete the hold. We'll be fine. But the reason I did that is we don't know what the weather is, right? So let me just show you something real quick. Let me just zoom this thing out over here. It's on the other screen. So using SimToolkit Pro and Sky Vector on one of my tabs down here, you can see that this is the remnants of Hurricane Ian. It is a tropical storm now. It's continuing to move up the east coast of the United States. We're going right here. This is our airport here. So we should have some weather, but nothing like this. So we'd probably be good to go, but I do need to know what the weather is before we actually get in there. So that's why I set up that hold. So there you have it. Alright, so with that in mind, let's take a real quick look. I guess I could have just kept that over here. Let's take a quick look at our arrival procedure. We're coming in at, let me just double check here, player. There we go. Or plier. I'm calling it player. So we're coming in out here at player, and it's E-Game, Auger, Frisbee, Joseph, Jeeves, then Tiny. Again, that's where we set up a hold right there. And then from there down to Pastor, and then it's going to depend on our approach from there. So that's why we set it up the way we have. We'll probably come on just a little bit early for the approach to set up, or not to set up, but to brief the approach. Right now, is this the one that yeah, this is the one I chose for now. So if this works out, then it'll be runway 24. It'll be this RNAV or VOR DME TAC-in runway 24 approach. I'm not going to brief it right now because I'm not 100% positive that's what we're going to be flying. But that's what I'm expecting for the moment, which would bring us all the way around to Cooper and then onto that approach from there. So with that in mind, we do have a altitude restraint of 27,000 feet at Auger. So let's go ahead and just put this at 27,000 for the moment, if I can get things to work here. And, oh, I went way past it there. What am I doing? There we go, 27,000. And that'll just get us started on the descent. That's actually interesting. So it's expect 27,000 at Auger, but it's showing 310 on here. So if we click on that, let's see, this is just altitude at. We want 27,000. I don't know if this is going to work now because I put that in there, right? And so, yeah, it beefed up or moved up our top of descent point. So there we go. I didn't notice that before, but at 27,000 at Auger. And then Frisbee, I don't know about 12,000 at Frisbee. We need to be 6,000 at Lamer. Let's see if Lamer's even on here. There's Tiny, there's Lamer there. And they got 1,600. Are you smoking guano? It says expect 6,000 feet. So let's do that one as well. Altitude at, we'll do 6,000 feet. We can always change these later if we need to. Alright, that puts that at 6,000, which you see it's bringing these up now, right? Which is good. That's what we want. We want it to bring those up. And then our hold, 6,000 feet, well, Tiny, it says 11,000 feet, right? So let's go to Tiny. I should have done this before, but this is something you normally do during your cruise, right? You go through here and check these. There we go. Altitude at Tiny, 11,000. It's going to bring the rest of those up, and it should put our hold, we're going to put our hold at 11,000 as well. There we go. Now we got our hold at 11,000 as well. That sets everything up pretty much the way we want it. Again, we don't have the approach determined yet, so we've gone ahead and set this to 27,000. We'll let it start the descent. As soon as I get some weather, I'll determine the approach, and then at the appropriate time, I'll come on here and brief it. Alrighty folks, not a lot of time here. We did have to change runways. We're going to take the ILS for runway 6. The weather's pretty much calm and clear. Let me just show you this approach really fast. We've pulled the ATIS. Don't worry about our frequencies right now. Localizer is tuned in at 111.5 with a final approach course of 58 degrees. Glide slope intercept at Dolphin 1,500 feet. Decision altitude is 200 feet AGL. Airport elevation is 30 feet with touchdown zone elevation at 27 feet. Missed approach, climb to 1,000 feet, then a climb your right turn to 3,000 outbound on the VOR to the 140 degree radial out to Corfu intersection, was 10 nautical miles out, and hold, or as directed by ATC. We actually put in a custom waypoint out here to give us a little room to get set up. We're going to descend to 4,600 for that waypoint, then down to 3,000, and then on in from there. Pappy lights on the left hand side. That's going to have to be good enough for now. You can see there's our custom waypoint right there. It's TR01, and you can also see that we are really high angle of attack. Let me see, what do we got here? 15. Let's go with 15. I'm good with that for now. We should be fine on our speed. And I've got control of both the heading and the speed for the moment. So I'll give the speed back over to the FMS here shortly. Now, see, it's flying straight this way, but that's not what I wanted. It's kind of interesting. I actually wanted it to fly out here just to open that up a little bit, because I don't want to be making a really tight turn and trying to get everything set up there. So let's put this down to 4,600 feet. Should descend just fine. There we go. That's what it's got us. It's actually 44 now. We can put it all the way down. Glide slope intercept is at 1,500. Let's go ahead and put that in there for now, 1,500, because it is flying on profile. Well, it's supposed to be anyway. Let's put this back on profile. Oh, it's not even going to do that right now, is it? Okay, well, let's just keep a close eye on it here right now. Well, yeah, it's showing vertical speed at 3,000, but I'm not the one controlling the vertical speed, so that's kind of interesting. So, alright, let's start bringing this heading around here. And let's just point it at that. And we could probably bring that speed down a little bit here. I don't want to bring it down too much, or it will slow really fast. It's going to want me basically set up for short final long before we get there. Okay, we need to click on this bad boy. So it's a little bit different. Again, it's that cross between Boeing and Airbus, so just something to keep in mind. But as we come around here and we start getting on course for TR01, once we get on an intercept course, we should be able to just hit nav and it should navigate itself there. So just keeping an eye on that. We've done this before. Nothing too particularly difficult, but as you can see, we should be just about ready to intercept that. So let's see what happens as we come around here. We'll hit nav and we'll see if the nav takes over or not. Right now you can see we're on heading mode right there, set to 86 degrees, 086. Those are matching up nicely. Let's try and hit nav mode here and see what happens. There we go, nav 2, and it should go straight for it. TR01 is the target. It's got this little hook on it. I don't know why it did that, but it did. So there you go. Let's go ahead and let's see. We're still on vertical speed, coming down to 1,500. Let's slow this speed down a little bit. Let's bring it down to. We're going to be landing fast, just so you know. Let's take a look at that here so you can see it. So we're looking at 157 is our approach speed for flaps 50. Now the weather is good for us. It's all cleared out. It's moved on, so that's nice. This area of Fort Myers was one of the hardest hit by this hurricane, so all indications are that the airport is in good enough condition to receive us, so we should be good to go. Now we're crossing TR01 here. What's it gonna do? Is it gonna bang a hard left all of a sudden? It says 0 nautical miles, just waiting for it to pick up the next waypoint. There we go. Now it's going to tropic, and at that one we need to be at 3,000 feet. You can see 3,000 feet listed on here. We're at 3,500 on there, so we're looking pretty good overall. Our speed is still up there a little bit. Let's go ahead. You know what? Just want to wait a minute. We're a few miles out. Yeah, we can do it now. Let's go to FMS speed, and let's go ahead and just put in a little bit of spoiler here. Retract speed brake. I need it to slow down first. We can go to flaps 28 now. That is done. You can see it's saying speed 171 there. Let's get to a proper view here. Get the track IR squared away, because you know it's going to be messed up. It always is. There we go. Track IR squared away. And then you can see there flaps 35. So that was my concern, right? I don't want it coming up that fast. Or down that fast, I guess is a better way to put it. So let's put it back to 200 knots for the moment. I want to stay just above that flaps 35 speed just for another minute here. And we're just waiting on that profile. Let's just bring that out a hair there. And we've picked up the localizer here, but we're not tracking in on it yet. So now we probably could just hit the approach land, and since it's picked it up, well, it's not going to tune in on it yet. It just says that it's armed, but it is starting to move, so I think we're good to go there. And let's bring that speed right down to that flaps 35 speed, give or take a little. 190. So that's like right below it. And I think we can go flaps 35 now. Let's go ahead and lower that landing gear, and let's give the speed back over to the aircraft here. So you can see it wants to slow to 167. That landing gear is going to put... It's coming down. Relax. Okay, there we go. Alright, and then we can go to flaps 50 now. And you can see it's telling us here it's going to flaps 50. And again, we're looking for 157 as our V approach speed. We have armed the localizer once it grabs that, which it should here really right about the time we hit Tropico, because that's where the feather is. So we're super heavy, but overall should still be pretty straightforward landing, just a little faster than we're used to. So not too big a deal. Once it grabs the glide slope, now it's grabbed the localizer there. So landing is armed, but right now it's holding 3,000 feet. We've got that down to 1,500 for glide slope intercept. So we should be good to go on everything. You can see that's the next program descent point there down to Dolphin, 1,500 feet. Overall, everything's looking pretty solid here, actually coming in pretty nice, especially since we had to sort of change last minute there. It was a really fast approach brief, I know, but I did have time to look at it before I even had to switch to it, so that was sort of the plan all along, right? Let's go ahead and arm those spoilers now. Try this again. There we go, arming the spoilers, fantastic. Alright, let's take a look at our final approach checklist here. Approach land has been armed. Flaps are at 50 degrees. ILS isn't captured yet, we're just waiting on that. Gear is down, we've got 4 green. Throttles are on their own. Thrust reversers when we need them, all that good stuff. Kind of just, sorry for the view there, kind of just walks you through how to do the landing really, which is kind of strange. So that's with the auto land. Without the auto land, it's almost the same thing, except that you're not doing auto land. It's kind of funny to me, actually. Alright, so we're just keeping an eye on things here. I may skip ahead, I may not, I may fast forward. I don't know, we'll see how I feel. Something I keep forgetting to mention, watch the throttles. See the glowing ones? That's where my throttles are actually at. So that's instead of having like a little indicator on here, it's got that fancy little glowing thing there that lets you know that your throttles are where the actual throttles are. Or where your physical throttles are, where the virtual throttles are, I guess is the way to put it. Alright, that diamond's definitely moving. Glide slope captured. We're a little below it, so I'm surprised that it did the little nosedive that it did there. But we'll just kind of let it settle for a second. I don't want to take it while it's acting all crazy. So no real wind to speak of. The winds are calm. That's what is what the weather report said. So as we're coming up on it here, let's go and disconnect the autopilot. Don't know why it automatically wants to climb when you disconnect the autopilot. You ever notice that? So we're just trying to get her where we want her there. We're just a tiny bit below it. That's alright. So I'll just let her come up just a little bit.
Approaching 06.
There we go. And it does sort of auto trim like an Airbus, right? So there we go. Get that nose coming over now.
Terrain.
I don't know why you're giving me terrain warnings when I'm on an ILS approach here. That's kind of weird. Alright. We're looking pretty good though. Let's listen to our call outs and take her in. Little high. That's alright though. Always high. Always high on approach, people. Get your minds right.
Approaching minimum. 200.
Continue.
150. 40. 30. 20.
Long landing, 9,000 feet remaining.
I didn't use any auto brakes, even though we're super heavy. Didn't really need it. Oh my gosh, seriously? That didn't work right. Try this again. Nope, still not working right. One more time. Okay, apparently you don't push the throttles forward for reverse thrust on this one. Lesson learned. Okay. Oh, now you do. Look, see what it's doing? That's reverse. That's reverse off. Oh my. Everything's got to be difficult, doesn't it? We're going over to the left here. It was a good landing though. Let's just go with that. It was a good landing. Alright, so we are going to go right over there. That's our apron. Start bringing those flaps up. And we got to get way in here to bring these up. Up one. And then way up here to start that bad boy. Bring the flaps the rest of the way up. Spoilers can come up. There we go. And we're looking pretty good. A little fast for this turn, but what's the master caution for? I get that every time. CG disagree. What is that? I don't know what that warning is. Maybe one of you guys knows. Seeing the seat back there as we turn our head. Okay, let's bring her over here. And you can see they've got some trucks lined up there for us to grab our goods and take them out and help some folks out. So that's fantastic. Just so you know, that wasn't planned. I don't know how that worked out the way it did, but it did. So I'm super happy about it. So we're going to bring this over here. We're going to take it right over by those trucks so they can offload, get it onto those trailers, and start moving it out. So I'm going to go ahead and taxi the rest of the way in here, and when we get over here and get her parked, I'll come back on. We'll get things shut down, and we'll wrap this flight up. Alrighty, we got her nice and snug in a parking space here. Let's go ahead and get that parking brake on. There we go. And everything resets when you put that parking brake on. Your FMC and everything resets, which is kind of cool actually, I guess. So, yeah, see, it's telling me to initialize everything now. Let me turn track IR off here. And let's take a look at our parking position checklist. So I didn't turn the taxi light on, or off, I'm sorry, as I came in. That wasn't very nice of me actually. Now we'll go and get that bad boy off. And we get the APU up and running. Okay, so it's, you click on it, right? And so I may have turned it off or on. I don't know which. I think you're not supposed to click on it. We're going to find out when we shut the engines off. Let's go ahead and do that real quick. 1, 2, and 3. And then you jump back up here, and so you see we do have it on. Sometimes you might accidentally click it off. I think you're supposed to just leave it alone. So let's turn the beacon light off here. Engines are off. Seatbelt signs can come off as well. Off, off. There we go. And then let's take care of those doors really quick. We'll just use our aircraft menu for that. So ground operations, we're going to need a ground power unit. Put the chocks in. Get the stairs over here. And we need to, it's not actually loading aircraft. We'll bring that over. Open that guy. Open that guy. And that should be good to go. What else we got here? TCAS needs to go off. That's this guy back here. I didn't turn the weather off either, so these guys are not going to be happy with me. Weather radar was supposed to go off when we landed. Anti-ice is already off. APU is going to be left running, and that means that's going to wrap it up for this one, ladies and gentlemen. Now, seriously, I did not put these trucks in here. They just happen to be here. So it works out very conveniently because, yeah, that's pretty great. Now, it is actually loading the aircraft. It'd be nice if they put an unload option on there instead of a load, right? But either way, we're going to roll with it. These trucks are here to pick up our goods, and they're going to take them where they need to go. So hopefully this helps out folks down there. Now, again, I just want to reiterate, I do realize that this is simulation. It's virtual. It's not real world. This doesn't really do anything for anybody. I wish that I wish I had the ability to, but unfortunately I don't. My good friend Joe is down there, and I wish I could help him out. But with all of that in mind, this just is a great reminder for us that there are people who have just gone through something that really is, I've been through a hurricane. It can be nasty. So we wish them all the best. Our prayers go out to all of the families that are in that area, and we will continue to pray for you, and hopefully things get back together relatively quickly. So I hope you guys enjoyed the flight. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. That lets me know that you enjoyed the content. Also, smash on that subscribe button if you like the content and you think that I've earned it. And that is it. That is all, and no more, ladies and gentlemen. Until next time, as always, keep the blue side up unless otherwise instructed by ATC. God bless you all, and have an absolutely wonderful day.